How did NXT deal with the releases in the previous week? Well, let's find out as we review the 26th of September No Mercy Go Home show for NXT. Welcome back to the channel. Before anyone goes, oh, Dolph Ziggler was the biggest release, I think NXT had the biggest releases, to be honest, because Mustafa Ali was actually he was scheduled for a title match against Dominic Mysterio. So how can it be? I mean, when was the last time Dolph Ziggler even had a fucking match, man? And like, who else are we going to mention throw in there? Top Dollar? I mean, most of the other people are jobbers that haven't been seen on that make... Oh, Emma, that's a big release. No. I mean, at least with Dana Brooke, she's actually been on NXT. You know, but Mustafa Ali, for me, he was scheduled to have the match against Dominic, so, I mean, actually at No Mercy, but he's finally released. And even when he posted it on Twitter, he's like, I can finally announce today that I didn't get... What was it? He didn't say he didn't get released, but he said something that made it sound like he didn't actually get released. Then he had to edit his tweet where he replied to it himself. I mean, how unprofessional and fucking jobber is that? But anyway, guys, let's see what NXT did, because it was the finals of the NXT Global Heritage Invitational, man. This Jobber Fest tournament that we've been ranting on for fucking weeks. Akira Tozawa finished last, of course. He's picked up 0 points. No points, prick for him. But we do have Butch and Joe Coffey in the final. And for me, this tournament just absolutely sucks. Imagine like putting this much effort of a point system into a literal, like, it's almost like lower mid card in NXT. It's bizarre. Like, you know, it's nowhere near the main, right? Then you've got the North American title, which for me, because it's held by Dominic Mysterio, is just above this. It's honestly mental. And I think Baron Corbin, and I know Baron Corbin and Braun Baker are just better than both these jobbers. But, you know, we've got England against Scotland here, a battle of the United Kingdom. And Butch wins, sadly. I did want Coffey to win. Normally I don't want them to win because I don't really like them. But when they're against a boring bastard like Butch... Yes, you want Butch to lose, and sadly Butch has won here. And it's just a guy that should be released, but you know, Triple H loves this guy, and I guess some people are wondering the same about him. Why is he not released? Why is Tommaso Ciampa not been released? But they're all Triple H marks, aren't they, man? At the end of the day, they're all Triple H marks. So Butch, you know, this tournament that's been on for about 6 weeks, he is the winner. Is that the correct decision? Not really for me. I'm not really buying this is the correct decision, but he's won. And that has his NXT kicked off. We then have Mackenzie Mitchell backstage with Dominic Mysterio. He does kind of get booed here. Not as much as it is on the main roster. I guess that is realistic, though, considering the fact that NXT's got about 500 people in the arena. And he says that Shawn Michaels is acting like Adam Pearce, and he thought he was better than that. Well, come on. I mean, as bad as Shawn Michaels is, right? It can't be as bad as Adam Pearce, Dominic, man. This is a fucking sick burn. I mean, Shawn Michaels should be getting this guy released on the spot for saying that, because that is absolutely sick. We then see the family at a restaurant. We've got the Don. We got the Don and Stax. They're sitting down. They're going to have a meal. They're going to discuss things. They're going to decide who would be the best opponents at No Mercy. So we see them two here. They're not too sure who they're going to pick, but we're going to have a big meal later on. It was definitely the highlight of this show, as it normally is. The family are normally golden, man. And to be honest, they haven't really been given any great feuds so far. But when it comes to the segments, they absolutely hit the nail. And the nail. They hit the ball at the park, man. Up next, though, we've got Trick Williams against Joe Gacy. I think the Joe Gacy, fucking hell, man. Experiments failed. The Diad got released. I think it's time just to fucking release them all. I mean, you can keep The Rock's daughter. I think she can work by herself. I don't think she needs this, you know, Joe Gacy guy in her corner. I don't think she needs to be in his corner. Trick Williams, who couldn't really buy a win against anybody, beats him. He says that up next for him is it's going to be a championship match. He's going to get a championship of his own. But he says Dragunov hits hard, but his dog, Carmelo Hayes, hits a wee bit harder, and he's going to retain his title, because of course that is the match at No Mercy. I mean, you think because they split them up, they would maybe try and distance them a bit, but they're not exactly doing that here, are they? Blair Davenport then gets an interview, says it's pathetic that Gigi Dolan is mocking her, and then Dolan from behind attacks her. then they get absolutely split up here. The NXT officials here are pretty poor at splitting certain people up, and then when other people are brawling, it was like, we can split them up immediately. We then see Tia heel in her new ring gear. Of course, this whole entire gimmick with her and JCG and all that. Take his shopping. I mean, I guess you have to move on for the whole Chase University. And you can't just be in the company for like 5 years and be a university student. So like, I guess this sort of heel turn makes it's kind of like a tweener thing, isn't it, if we're being honest. We then get a video package hyping up Becky Lynch and Tiffany Stratton's Extreme Rules match in No Mercy. For me, that probably will be match of the night. I just look at the other match. I just don't care for Carmelo Hayes as champion. I don't. I think between this match or Braun Breaker and Corbin will probably be match of the night, to be honest. We then get Baron Corbin against Josh Briggs, boy. Josh Briggs. Baron Corbin wins this match. I mean, it's an alright match for Baron Corbin. Some people are probably shocked that he's not one of the guys to have been released. But guess what, guys? He's not been one of the guys to be released. So you just have to accept that you have to take your medicine with this. He does say we're going to find out whether or not Braun Breaker will bite or bark at No Mercy. And then Breaker storms into the ring and these two have a brawl, but then they get separated by the security guards. For now, as we will see later on, it doesn't last very, very long. Gigi Dolan then gets attacked in the locker room. Absolutely mental here. Just pretty similar to what happened earlier on, nothing mental. Los Lotharios are the first to arrive at the family dinner. And they don't want to sit down, they do not want to eat the food, they want to simply just get straight to business. Stacks points out why have you got tattoos like you've been attacked by a saber-tooth tiger, man, which I thought was a pretty good line. The Creed brothers walked in, and you never really heard the Creed brothers cut promos or be this goofy. And you know what? It was goofy, but it wasn't like a New Day goofy. They were like playing up in the fact that these two are like two fucking Southern bells, maybe not Southern bells, but Southern fucking retards, man. And they love mom's cooking, yay-ha! But they can also wrestle. It was alright for these two. We will continue the rest of this segment later on as Trick Williams walks into Shawn Michaels' office and he wants to get himself in to the North American title qualification match. Of course, this match has had to be made because Mustafa Ali got released, which is just it just doesn't make sense. Some of these releases, like, why would you get released? Like, why would I have no issue with them releasing Mustafa Ali. I do not care about him, but why would you even put him in a feud, like in a prominent feud, if you knew this was probably going to happen? The guy's asked for release in the past and it's been rejected. Up next, we've got Bronco Nima and Lucien Price taking on Hank Walker and Tank Ledger. Bronco Nima and Lucien Price win. These two then are the final arrivals into the family dinner. It was funny. Tony D says, do we need to get a booster seat for Scripps? Of course, Scripps, formerly known as Reggie. The guy is a midget. And I tell you what, when someone's a midget or a dwarf size and there's a booster seat reference, it's always going to get a cheap pop out of me. So, salut to Tony D. So this segment gets wrapped up essentially. He says, we've all prepared your favourite beverages here. And that we're going to toast to this match. All of you are going to compete at No Mercy. So it kind of left the door open whether or not it would be like a fatal four-way tag match for the belt, but I don't think they put themselves through that. It makes no sense. So I think we're going to get a triple threat tag match and then the winners advancing to take on the family, which is probably the smart thing. And you had the Creed brothers drinking milk. But again, like this segment, very good segment, you know. It's the fact that you've just got to sit down and like when we joke on this channel, maybe sometimes not joking, say that some of these sit downs are better than some of the Soprano sit downs. I mean, it's not even a joke, man. Some of this stuff is genuinely good, you know. And obviously, it's not supposed to be legit. It's supposed to be the comedy element. They're not trying to portray Tony D as like a fucking legit, you know, street boss and Stax as his underboss, man. It just is the way that it is. Up next, we get D-Jack against Eddie Thorpe in a strap match. Eddie Thorpe wins. Absolutely dog shit. You know, I just do not understand this one bit. D-Jack actually looks like a bit of a fucking star, man, with his sunglasses. He does. I know it's just sunglasses, and most people who put sunglasses on will look a bit more badass than what they normally do, but this guy looks the part, he's tall, he can actually talk, has a look, and here he is losing to Eddie Thorpe. Now, did D-Jack beat him up after the match? Yes, right? Did he taunt his family? He's like, I'm gonna fucking kill you, man. Didn't quite say that, but it's just a bit pish for me that this guy's losing. To be honest, Carmel Hayes, though, gives Trick Williams the cold shoulder. He doesn't want to hear about Trick Williams getting his North American title shot because he's got a match tonight. Well, no, he's got contract signing tonight, essentially. So, like, Trick Williams wants to distance himself with Carmelo Hayes, but as soon as he gets a sniff of a North American title shot, he's, like, on the burner to him. I mean, come on, man. Just sounds like a load of absolute shite. We then have the sixth match. We've got Tia Hill taking on Dana Palmer. Again, you get Chase U watching on here, Andre Chase and Duke Hudson, damn it. Tia Hill wins, and then JC Jane like blows Chase U a kiss, like, haha, I'm the one. I've got Tia Hill now, not Chase University. And I think the Chase University segments, they were great. Like, they were on par with Tony D, like, not too long ago. But I think now that they're beginning just to go down a wee bit hill for me personally. Not that this was much of a segment, it definitely was more of a match, but Thea Hill wins. So Dominic Mysterio then tells Mackenzie Mitchell, I mean, how many fucking interviews is this guy going to get? He says that Shawn Michaels needs to realise he doesn't run NXT, Dirty Dom does, and that he's going to whoop Trick Williams at No Mercy. I have no mercy on my soul. And then Trick Williams, what's he going to do? Is he going to beat that? I'm not too sure. Dragon Lee, who was on Raw last night when this show took place, apparently Dominic Mysterio beat him. I mean, Dragon fucking Lee. This guy was in AEW and I never knew about it. And I seen someone put up about the fact, this guy was in AEW fighting Kenny Omega, and look at him now. I mean, who remembers him fighting Kenny Omega? Apart from the one fucking guy, man. No one. No one, just us. Absolute garbage. Then Dragon Lee beats Dominic Mysterio. So, of course, you know, who's going to win this match? We do have a multi-man match. Fatal 4-way. We've got XAM, Tyler Bate, Dragon Lee, Trick Williams. We're kind of already spoiled. Who wins it? Trick Williams. I think it was so obvious it was going to be Trick Williams. It was almost fucking pointless having this match. But, of course, Mustafa Ali, they had to do it. Trick Williams wins. It was an alright Fatal 4-way match. We then have Carmelo Hayes, Ally Dragunov, contract signing. It's always the same shite. It's, I enjoy pain because my name's Ally Dragunov. They start slapping his chest like fucking Beetroot Red, and you know, I mean, it's just, that's what you expect, man. The guy's just a fucking weirdo. I don't like Ally Dragunov, man. I don't. And he's a fucking diddy, man. He's sitting there in his PE goodies. I mean, slapping his fucking chest, Beetroot Red, trying to eat his fucking nipples, man. The guy's a weirdo. The guy, fuck him. I don't like him. I hope Carmelo Hayes wins. And I think if Carmelo Hayes does win, this guy just has to get called up to the main roster. It's not going to happen for him. It's absolutely not. And then this episode ends with them two signing the contract, but it ends with Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin. They are brawling into the NXT parking lot. We've got a couple of decent shots here. The car door opens. Braun Breaker goes for a spear on Baron Corbin. He hits the car door. Like, I mean, it would have looked so much better if the car door flew off the hinges, but it didn't. Baron Corbin then slams him into the car door again, from like the other angle, like to close the door. And then they start brawling back inside, and then they burst into Shawn Michaels' office, and then this is what prompts all the officials to like properly split up the fight. Like, I get it, they want to protect the boss, I guess, of NXT, but for fuck's sake, like, where were all these guys like 10 seconds ago? Come on, man. But looking forward to this match. Braun Breaker definitely deserves more than a feud against Baron Corbin for me. Should be on the main roster, but hey, man, who am I to say what he deserves, buddy? But NXT, it was alright, man. I liked a couple of the segments. The matches are always a bit meh. I don't really care. It's all about the segments in wrestling, isn't it? I'm going to give this show, I mean, I think a 3.5 would be the rating, but I'm not going to give it a 4. I'm going to give it a 3. So until next time, peace.